I'm thankful that you did me wrong, cause now I got it right, I promise you gon' miss me gone. I done seen it all like the first picture phone. They wishing on my downfall with the wishing bone. Now, unless you was stuck on cloud 10, under a rock, have you heard the motherfucking word? What's good, y'all? It's yours truly. Once again, Heartbreak Ace. If you're familiar with my content or not, hit that like, comment, subscribe so the algorithm can get this breaking content every time I upload. Cause I try to be friends with the algorithm, but it ain't working out. Nah, I can't fuck with that nigga. Algorithm got too many problems. I be trying to be cool, but he just don't get it. All I want you to do is get these people my videos and we'll be cool forever. I promise you. I'll stop bullying you and all that. You know what I mean? I don't even like bullies, but you know, sometimes I have to bully you because you just don't get it. Just don't get it. So my peace offering for you is simply be chill. You get it now? Nah. Topic of discussion while we here. Man, Thug had to make that song Best Friend for Brian Steele, his lawyer. I can see him singing it to him now. Oh, best friend, they're my best friend. Everything is... Nah. Why I say that though? Because apparently, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for Thug, but now they're looking into putting a recusal of the judge, basically saying they're looking into putting a new judge on the case of Young Thug's trial. And maybe this is an A+ for Thug. Brian Steele, they fought hard. They was in the trenches with Thug, for real. They was in the trenches better than YSL supposed to be. The snitches. The YSL snitches. Brian Steele and his lawyer team, their firm, they more gangster than the YSL crew. They should have been with Young Thug. Well, actually, y'all, they his lawyers, so they the more gangster people of the YSL. I'm sorry, man. You don't know what I'm talking about? Let's spin the block.
Crime, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and thanks for joining us. So we are still following the trial of Jeffrey Lamar Williams, aka rapper Young Thug, and his co-defendants. Now, remember, the well-known rapper is charged under the racketeering statute, and prosecutors say that the rapper and his co-defendants are part of a criminal street gang known as Young Slime Life, or YSL. The defense is saying that it's not the case, that YSL stands for the rapper's record label, known as Young Stoner Life, and that there's nothing nefarious going on here. Well, today, Judge Earl Glanville has paused all matters in the YSL RICO trial until there is a new judge to decide whether he should be removed from the case. And this came after defense attorney Brian Steele caught wind of an ex parte meeting that took place with the prosecution, Judge Glanville, and key witness Kenneth Copeland and his attorney, Kayla Bumpus. Now, Steele believes that the meeting took place because Copeland admitted to the shooting death of Donovan Thomas Jr. So with that, I wanted you to take a moment when Glanville made this announcement earlier today. Let's take a listen.
As then transitioning to the last matter the court wanted to put on record, upon further review, this court will in fact enter an order sending Mr. Adams and Steele's, Mr. Weinstein, and Mr. Banks' motion to recuse to another judge pursuant to Uniform Superior Court Rules 25.1 through 25.7 in the method and manner prescribed by our local rules. So this written order is entered. I will enter the order transferring it, and until such time as those two things are decided, then we'll be in recess until that time. And we will just inform our jurors that they're until this is, they're not supposed to come back on Monday until Monday anyway. So I will have Deputy Ingram and Ms. Umana indicate to them that they are still on recess and we're continuing to work. So that's all I have for you at this point in time. Okay?
All right. Well, joining me right now, I have a special guest. I'm joined by attorney Doug Weinstein, who represents Diamante Kendrick, aka Yak Gotti, in this case. Doug, thanks so much for coming on. No secret, you have been very active in trying to get Judge Earl Glanville removed from this case. You filed multiple motions to have him recuse himself. What was your reaction to today's announcement?
Well, I was surprised that he finally got to this point. It's an announcement he really should have made back on June 12th when I initially filed this motion. He was required at that time to stop the trial, consider my motion, and I think based on the affidavit that I filed and everything else, he should have sent it off to another judge to hear the recusal. So I'm glad he finally got to this point. I'm just sorry that it took almost 3 weeks to get here, that I had to petition the Georgia Supreme Court and then file another petition in Fulton County last Friday before we got here.
Why do you think he did it now? Do you think there was pressure from some area? Do you think that he was realizing he maybe should have assigned this to a different judge? Why now?
I really can't get into his head and explain why he did that. The only thing that I can guess is that having read the petitions, having considered, perhaps having had counsel from an attorney that would represent him in these petitions for writs of mandamus, perhaps he learned that this is something he should have done a few weeks ago. And I'm glad he finally got to this point, because it shortcuts this current petition that I have filed, and we can go right to the main issue, or this main side issue, which is, should he recuse himself?
And by the way, do we have any sense of when that decision would come out? I mean, what court it would go to, how the briefing schedule would work, how long the arguments would be? When do you think we could get a resolution of that issue?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is the 4th of July week. The Superior Court here in Fulton County is not going to do anything until he gets his order entered that he referenced today, the order where he is going to send this to another judge for determining recusal. Assuming he gets that in today, then hopefully it would be, Fulton County moves pretty quick. Hopefully it would be assigned to another judge within Fulton County this week or very early next week. I don't think a judge in Fulton County, though, can actually consider this recusal issue.
And explain to us why, because there's a conflict?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you look at the case law in Georgia, and in particular, there's an opinion from the Georgia Judicial Qualification Commission, who kind of governs the judges here in Georgia, that a judge within a particular circuit cannot hear another case involving a judge in that same circuit. So I think whatever judge ends up with this in Fulton is going to have to end up recusing themselves and sending it off to another circuit, or it's going to have to be sent off to another circuit.
And for our viewers who don't know why is it you're asking for Judge Glanville to recuse himself at this point in time?
Well, the motion that I filed and presented to the judge on June the 12th is a little different than the one that Brian Steele filed the following week. The reason that I'm asking for recusal is because specifically of the ex parte hearing that he held with Mr. Copeland without us present, without our knowledge, where there seemed to be an attempt to keep it secret from us, given his attitude and how he acted from the bench once he found out that we learned about it. So the conduct of that ex parte hearing, what happened with...
Yeah, I can't, because he asked me these questions and...
Then you add on to that the fact that he did not take the actual recusal motion and follow the rule on that. So there's a couple of violations, I think, of the Judicial Code of Conduct that would merit his recusal just within this, just within that week, just on the 10th and the 12th. I believe you'll have to look at Brian Steele's motion. I think he complains of more than that, but Brian's treatment in court has been different than my treatment in court.
Can we talk about that for a second, your treatment in court? Because you had a very interesting back and forth with Judge Glanville. And correct me if I'm wrong, you said, are you not concerned about, or do you have any interest in removing the cloud over this case? And Judge Glanville basically responded to you and said, basically be careful with what you're saying. What did you mean by that? And what did you take away from Judge Glanville's response?
Well, I believe he quoted Walter White from Breaking Bad to me, and he said that he reminds me of my professional responsibilities and that I should tread lightly. My intent on telling the judge that, or suggesting to the judge that perhaps giving me a certificate of immediate review so that an appellate court could review his decision on my recusal motion might be good, because I did believe, and I still believe, that there's a cloud that's been cast over this case due to that ex parte meeting that he held. And yeah, he was not happy with me about that, and did tell me to tread lightly. But I have obligations to my client, so I represent Diamante Kendrick with Katie Hingerty and with Jay Apt. He may tell me to tread lightly, but I have to do what's in my client's interest, and it's certainly in Mr. Kendrick's interest to remove the judge based on his actions in that ex parte meeting that he held.
The Judge Glanville, responded also by saying that this was just about you didn't like his ruling, and that if there is ever a case where attorneys disagree with the judge's rulings, then they immediately would be able to file recusal motions. That's the way that he characterized it. What did you make of that?
It is the way he characterized it, and we've been in trial for 18 months, and if I wanted to ask for recusal, or if any of us wanted to ask for recusal based on rulings that have gone against us, we could have done it scores, maybe hundreds of times over the last 18 months. It was a mischaracterization of the motion. I don't know why he put it that way. I attempted to correct him in court, which you can see, but that was the position that he took. He did somewhat changed that in the written order that issued 2 days later. But again, I think that written order had errors in it as well. So I don't know why he characterized it that way from the bench. I was not complaining about any particular order that he gave or any rulings that he made. I was complaining of conduct, and I'm still complaining of conduct.
And let's amplify that a little bit, because one of the allegations is that in this ex parte meeting, that Judge Glanville essentially, and this has been put forward by Brian Steele, intimidated Copeland and said that you have to testify because Copeland was resisting to testify. And then Copeland had suggested that he was going to go take the stand and say that he was involved in the shooting death of Donovan Thomas. Do you believe that Judge Glanville engaged in witness intimidation?
Well, if you read my motion that I filed on the 12th, I have an affidavit there, and I have the same source as Brian Steele, and that source told both of us that Judge Glanville was involved with the prosecution in coercing Kenneth Copeland to testify, and that is just not appropriate conduct from the judge. Now, the judge is not in a position to refute that, at least on considering my motion to recuse. If he wants to refute that later, perhaps the transcript will show that my source was completely wrong. But again, that's why I've been asking for the transcript. And in the written order that the judge gave us on the 12th of June, he doesn't really deny what I state in my affidavit, which is the same as pretty much as what Brian Steele said in court. He doesn't really refute that in the order. He just says that I lack additional evidence to support that affidavit. But of course, how can I have that evidence if he's refusing, at least at that time, provide?
All right, y'all, we spit the block one time. Hope you ain't dizzy. You shouldn't be. Now, I'll say this. Essentially, what's happening is that look like they've been cooking this look like fish Friday in the courtroom. Something looking real fishy, they start to smell it. It must be grandma's cooking, because it's smelling real fishy in that kitchen. And they smell the seasoning. They're using all the sage, all the Old Bay, and it's cooking in that kitchen right now. And maybe if that judge get off this case, that might be an A+ for Thug. Because it's showing not only that it's a new judge that's not as biased or probably on the prosecutor's side, but it just shows the power of Young Thug's law team. They ain't playing no games. I mean, Brian Steele is the most gangster lawyer I know, other than Johnny Cochran. Like, I don't see no other gangster lawyer. I mean, we gotta remember when they try to put him in jail for 20 days. When the same judge that they tried to do the recusal on, he tried to put Thug's lawyer in jail for the same reason why they're doing this recusal. Because he was going against the situation. He heard about the secret meeting, and he exposed it to the court, and the judge caught an attitude. Granfield, I think that's his name. He caught an attitude, and it shows his character as a judge. And now it's showing your bias as that you trying to get Thug in jail. You don't care if he's innocent. You trying to find him guilty. even if it ain't no evidence, you trying to find something to stick on your thug. Obviously, it shows. And they say Fanny like to give it up. Maybe she get a judge to pussy one time too, cause he playing real hard to not have a side in this. A judge don't supposed to have no side in this battle when it's been alleged. Now, I don't know if this is gonna actually be a win for Thug, because then again he gotta sit and wait because it's being delayed because of it. But like I said before, even if he win in this case, he's still gonna do a couple of years, unless something like dramatic happen, like crazy in this case, that he had no choice but to get free. Other than that, he's gonna do a couple more years in prison or jail. Prison, I'm pretty sure he's in prison. So he has to just play the weight game at this point. I don't know, but I do know it's probably it's a sign of relief for him. I know he getting a sign of relief because he going on, I want to say 3 years. He definitely been in there for 2 years for sure. It's about to be 3 years that he's been locked up, and Young Thug, he looking like Big Thug. That nigga, pause. Nigga looking swole in there. You seen him, man? The nigga ain't got the face, ain't like that no more. Nah, let me chill, man. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me know how y'all feel, man. Leave a comment down below. Y'all think this was a win for Thug, or y'all think he's still gonna get found guilty in this case? I think he I don't think they're gonna find him guilty on the charges they try to stick on him as far as the RICO. I think he's gonna get found guilty of something. But I think at that point they're gonna get him time served. Because I think by then he'll be in jail 4 years. I don't want to call that on him if he can get out early, but I think it'll be 4 years when he finally get out. And then whatever charge they give him, his 4 years will be enough for him to get out on some probation shit or parole. And then he's in and they probably give him 1,000,000 years of parole just to hope he getting any kind of sneeze wrong so they can lock him back up. That's what I think they technically gonna end up being in the end, because even if they had a case on him, the judge and the prosecutor destroyed their whole case. They're trying to be sneaky and getting caught being sneaky because they had somebody on the inside on their side that switched on them. They switched sides on him. That's really what happened. It told Brian Steele and told Yak Gotti's lawyer, and that's how they find out. And of course, you know, Brian Steele is gangster. He exposed it to the court. That's how all this transpired. So, you know, it's probably a win for Thug, but he's still gonna be doing a couple more years. Maybe early he get out. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. Free Thug till it's backwards. But that's all I have for y'all right now, man. At the moment. As always, love each other. Till next time, it's yours truly, Heartbreak.